Morten, how was your Amazon experience?
It's really good.
Do you have one tip you can give somebody that wants to be a professional wildlife photographer?
It's I haven't even got my morning coffee and now this question. Yeah, I do have a tip, and that would be always to never change your style just because other people might like something else. Believe in your style and believe in what touches you when you go out with your camera, and just stay completely true to your heart when it comes to photography.
Want my advice? Well, even if you did, you're not gonna get it, because I had a morning mic failure. But as we board our motorized canoe for another day in the Amazon rainforest, I'll say this. For me, the key to wildlife photography is understanding something very simple. The story is more important than the specs. It doesn't matter if your photo is a smooth ISO 200 if it's not sharp. And it doesn't matter if your image is ISO 12,800 if it captures a beautiful moment. Capture the moment!
So we're in the boat, and every day we've been doing this, just cruising through all these little waterways looking for animals. The Amazon basin is just so dense that you can see things like birds along the waterways, but definitely the best way to see the animals is just right along the waterways. You get monkeys, you get birds, we got sloths and things like that. When you go on forest walks, you will see things like frogs and spiders, but in terms of the bigger animals, you definitely almost need to be on the water to see them. So this is where we've been spending most of our days, and we're kind of, just cruising now towards a community. We're gonna do a quick community stop here in the Amazon as well. So beautiful morning, a little bit of cloud cover, really nice light, and hopefully some sightings.
As we cruised towards the village, the wall of the jungle kept most of the sightings at bay. In fact, aside from this average photo of a kingfisher, I hardly lifted the lens to my eye the entire hour-long journey.
We're just jumping off the boat and the community. Every time I come to communities like this, somewhere so remote, I think to myself, what would it have been like to grow up there? And then I remember I grew up in Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. It's probably pretty similar. There's a bunch of macaws up in this tree, but really heavily backlit. Other than that, a little bit of a strikeout with animals, lots of really close sightings and nothing on camera.
Other than this desktop wallpaper ready image of the macaws, this morning hasn't been great for photography. But for me, travel's always been about the moments in between the images. The walks through remote villages accessed only by boat. The encounters with new people and new experiences. In this village deep within Cuyabena National Park, we're shown into a traditional kitchen. There, a local woman takes us through the process of making traditional Yuca bread from scratch. In fact, from beyond scratch. We pick the root directly from the soil. We're taking farm to table a whole nother level. From earth to entree. And we're putting Morten to work too.
Morten, when I asked you to help me guide in Ecuador, is this what you thought you were going to be doing?
No, I hoped. Not in my wildest dream that I thought I would get the opportunity to do things like this. There's nothing I really love better than trying to learn old skills. Probably also why I like bushcraft a lot.
This is true bushcraft.
Yeah, this is learning something that I didn't even know existed. It doesn't get more adventurous.
¿Él está haciendo un buen trabajo?
Sí, mucha fuerza tiene.
I'm not sure Morten will be able to make fresh Yuca bread in the Arctic where he spends most of his time on the roam looking for wild encounters, but I'm happy to see him in his element, learning. The great pros never stop learning, even if it's something they may never use again, like drying root flour and making bread from scratch for a certain hungry travel photographer.
We've just been making cassava, yuca, bread. And I'm not a fan of yuca really, but this yuca bread's pretty good. It's like crackers. We put tuna inside. Morten's been having a lot of fun. And this dog's been loving me because I keep dropping it and he just picks up my scraps. Yeah, it's actually really good. And now it's time to jump back in the boats and head downriver once I'm done chewing.
Bellies full, we left the village for the wilds of the basin once again. And again, the jungle wasn't really bearing wildlife fruit. It would almost be frustrating if it weren't so damn peaceful. And after no big sightings and a quick stop at Green Forest Eco Lodge for some lunch, we hit the rivers again.
Oh, sun's in my eyes. So we haven't seen anything really except for this bird that looks like a tree. But another group went by us and said that earlier today they saw a sloth, an oso perezoso, a lazy bear. So we're kind of scouring around trying to find this lazy bear somewhere in a tree. Oh, and there's, is that a halt? It's a vulture. Es un vulture, no? No, es un oso perezoso. Yeah, basically we're just trying to find this sloth. We saw one on the way in the other day, but it was kind of hidden in the trees. The one that these guys saw had a baby and it was way out there, and I'm jelly. Peanut butter jelly. So we got the sloth way up in the tree, but shockingly, the lazy bear's being lazy. And his head's, or her, I don't want to be sexist, his or her head is being blocked by a branch. So we can see the whole sloth, but the head is like the only thing being blocked. Sloths are really cool to see, but to get a photo of them, yeah, it's not exactly the most exciting thing to photograph. But I'm excited, regardless.
My lazy bear photo isn't any better than this footage, so I'm not going to share it. Someday, somewhere though, I'll get my sloth photo. We crept down the waterways into the evening, again looking for anything worthy of a wildlife photo. But this isn't a zoo. We're the ones caged by our field of view and by our own expectations. So while we explore the Amazon through some of Jodie's beautiful B-roll, let me explain something. I've named this video the hardest place in the world to do wildlife photography. And you've probably already dropped some angry comment like, "You spoiled brat, try doing wildlife photography in Chicago." But let me be clear, you can do wildlife photography anywhere. Like landscape photography, or anything really, you're always going to be more inspired by what's new and what's exotic. You don't need to come to the Amazon to be a wildlife photographer. And sure, that's easy for me to say while I'm surrounded by this. But we're all caged by our inspirations.
Okay, sadly it's time to leave. We're packed up and we're leaving Green Forest Eco Lodge here in Cuya Bueno. This is a property that's owned by a buddy of mine, full disclosure, but it is awesome. There's not that many lodges in this region, and in my opinion, it's definitely the most pristine of the regions of the Amazon. I've been to, well, at least here in Ecuador, I've been to like 3 or 4 different places in the Ecuadorian Amazon, and this has been by far the most impressive when it comes to wildlife. That being said, kind of struck out with wildlife yesterday. So I'm hoping on the hour and a half back to the main road, we'll see something else. So yeah, here we go. I'm Morten, enjoy living in the jungle forever.
As we left Cuya Bueno National Park, again the sightings were pretty slim. Maybe we were just spoiled the first couple days. Maybe we got lucky. But then, just as we started to think our luck was totally out, movement in the trees above our heads. Squirrel monkeys.
Okay, we just had a proper send-off from the Amazon. A bunch of squirrel monkeys literally within a couple meters of us. I hope that one of my photos is sharp, and I should have probably shot some video footage of it for you guys, but you get the photos anyway. And that's it for the jungle. In the jungle, some days, like yesterday, you really don't see anything. And then other days, you're just trying to leave the jungle and you just see a wild troop of squirrel monkeys within feet. So, special place, and a special place coming up as well. We're heading to the Galapagos Islands. I'll see you next time. Peace.